What's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about homeschooling. So I'm just gonna walk around the property and give you tips and tricks and things to think about before you decide to homeschool, because I know there are a lot of people that are toiling with the idea of homeschooling, and it's great. I love homeschooling. You have to be very committed because these are little lives you are going to be teaching. My children have always been homeschooled. From day one we've been homeschooling. I mean, I start them out at 2 years old. I started teaching colors and numbers, very basic stuff. I mean, it was playing, but yet they're learning, so I consider that homeschooling. Homeschooling is not a weird thing. We're not unsocialized. We get out more than anybody. I mean, I get exhausted about how many times we go. So the pandemic for me, it was nice. I got to reboot and I got to slow down, and I'll probably keep that a little bit. However, we will get socialized. Don't worry, we're not the weird unsocialized homeschoolers. That's really not a thing anymore. Excuse me. Because there's so many things that we can do. There's so many homeschoolers out there. We all get together. We all teach together in the co-ops. Even if you don't want to join a co-op, I mean, I recently just joined a co-op last year, and it was amazing. Before then, we went to a Bible study, and that's where my kids got to socialize. And then we had play dates with kids the same ages that are homeschoolers as well. Research your state's laws and make sure you abide by them. There's just a lot of things to consider. I live in Georgia, so our laws are very lenient. They are very homeschool loving, which is amazing. Like, if I ever move somewhere, I'll have to look at their laws before I decide to move to that state, because some of them are a little more strict. We decided to homeschool, and it was fantastic. Like I said, I only had one at the time, and we had so much fun doing all the little extra games and things that I don't do anymore because I ain't got time for that. But it was fun, and don't get me wrong, it's not all rainbows and happiness. You will learn patience homeschooling. You'll learn your children more. Your actual bond with your children will become even better. There's so many pluses of homeschooling. I mean, everything in life is learning, so why not learn with them? I've learned so much homeschooling. Like, I'm smarter because I homeschooled, because I'm going through school a second time. My homeschool timeline is we wake up at 7:30 and we start school at 8 o'clock. And there's fudge time in that too, so don't stress out if you're not right on the dot. When I started to have multiple children, like, I was like, okay, we got to start right now. And I'd get all in tatters if it didn't go exactly the right way. And then that was a bad day. Like, a few minutes here and there, 30 minutes even, not a big deal. Like, let's say we start school at 8 o'clock. And then this year's gonna be different, but I'll tell you last year's schedule, and it works fantastic. If they weren't done with breakfast, I would just keep reading. I read for maybe 30, 45 minutes. And usually I read on something that pertained to what we were learning in history or even science. Sometimes I threw in a fun book there, something that would teach them something. Like, I want some substance. You can do a lot of fun books, but my girls, my youngest is going into 2nd grade, and she has a mind. Like, she asks questions, and I always encourage that because that's how you learn. So don't shut your child down if they have a bunch of questions. And if you spend your whole time answering questions, that's great. That means she's learning or he's learning, and they're really into what you're learning. So it's all about learning. Read aloud. Then we go into math. And some days I didn't read aloud. We did math flashcards all the way around the table. Of course, my youngest, not doing multiplication yet, didn't do those. But it's just a good time for review for about 15, 20, 30 minutes. It's up to you. What do you want to do? By 9 o'clock, at least, we would start our math. And we did that for 45 minutes. I worked on 45-minute blocks last year. So when that time is up, whatever they didn't complete was their homework, which they could complete after every other subject was done. And then we moved on to language. Another 45 minutes, and then we moved on to Riley did writing, so she had an extra subject, and that was like 45 minutes. But then we would move on to, what's next, science, and then on Wednesdays we did our history. So It was a good 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours most days. Some days are shorter and some days are longer, so it all evens out and you get everything done. This year I wanted to really relax it because this year has been really nuts. So this year, our schedule going in is going to be much different. So Mondays, I am going to do writing with the 2 older girls. We're not doing language. Madison is ahead in language, so she can take a year off and it won't even matter. Riley is really good at language, so it won't even matter. So we're going to take a whole year off, and all we're doing is writing. Every single kind of writing, narrative, exclamatory, opinions, all the kinds of writings. I want them to really learn and grasp all that. And Cameron, for her writing, will be doing cursive. And also the big girls, they're doing cursive. I mean, some schools don't even teach that anymore, which I think is really crazy because that's like, it's gonna be like hieroglyphics in 100 years. And some schools don't teach spelling, which is insane to me because you need to know how to spell. Yeah, I know we have Grammarly, I know we have spell check, but that's not the same. They're going to write in cursive what they see in print, and then vice versa, because I want them to be able to read and write the cursive like I do. I mean, it's not that hard. Within that writing too, we'll be doing research papers, all that kind of stuff. So they're gonna be able to research some history stuff and things that they're interested in as well, because I try to make everything fun and I want them to learn about things that they like. Moving on, next topic, we'll talk about homeschool laws. I kind of touched on that already, but if you're just going to homeschool, you need to really go into your laws, know what your laws are. So you can just Google homeschool laws of Georgia, wherever your state is. Just Google that, print it out, map it out, make sure you know what you're doing. Because some states have attendance you have to send in, some need your grades. There's all sorts of laws, so know that going in what it is. And it's really good to talk to other homeschoolers if you have that, if you can, because they've been there, done that. They can make it a lot easier for you. And there's testing. In Georgia, we have to test every 3 years. Yeah, really know your laws so that you can abide by those and not have any issues. Next, school day setup. I kind of went over that, our schedule. Did I finish that? I don't even know if I finished it. I don't think I finished it. Okay, so real quick rundown. Let me find some shade. I am like sweaty. So Monday is learning, Tuesday is co-op, where my girls will learn things that I'm not teaching, which is awesome. Wednesday will be math for 4 hours. We'll do games. It's not just gonna be math book because that would be boring. I don't even want to do that. Thursday, we are going to do history for 4 hours. And they have life pack books this year, so there's actually a video on that as well. I'll link it down below. And we'll do life pack books, but however, I'm gonna jump off that and we're gonna do some Army men setups because we're learning about North America and the wars and all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited about doing those. And then Friday we'll do science, and we'll do science labs. I'm really excited about breaking each subject down in each day. Organization, huge. You need to be organized or you're not gonna know where your supplies are. I can't stand disorganization. Not that my house is like pristine and perfect. Oh, it's so far from it. But I like my homeschool room to have some order in it. Curriculum is lined up, ready to go. When I'm done using my books at the end of the day, I might just leave them on the table, but they're still in the pile where the girls can sort through their own mess. But organization in prepping for your school year or week or day is a must. I don't necessarily write everything down now because I've been doing this for eons. But when I started, I had a book. It could just be a notepad. I mean, you don't have to go get a planner. I'm not really good at using planners. I don't like staying in the lines. But just write down, okay, science 102, page 3 through 7, whatever. You need to know your game plan and organize that so you don't just like, I don't know, get off the beaten path and never get your work done. For 2 of the days of the week that you plan on teaching can be let's go take a walk. Or we're going to the museum. That's perfect. But write it down if you can't keep it in your head yet. There's days where I'm very spontaneous and I get on tangents and I see squirrels everywhere, if you know what I mean. Whew, I'm bloody hot. If there's something that comes up, like a play date with a friend, take it. Unless you're really, really behind. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But take it. Take every opportunity you can to get out in the real world. Let the kids be kids. Because that's huge. There is a major importance for your kids to just be kids. Go to the beach if you have a beach. We do. So we go to the beach and they'll see things, and just seeing and touching and feeling and breathing is learning. So there's nothing wrong with that. So if you have your day scheduled for this day and your friend calls up, hey, let's do something, do it. Go do it. You can move that lesson into next week. You can move it down tomorrow. You can combine 2 lessons and cut out the other fun stuff you had, because you can do fun stuff today. It's so cool homeschooling, because you are the person that makes the rules, and you can change them on a whim. So it's not a big deal. At the end of the school year, I finished school a couple years ago in April, and I was like, oh, okay, what do I do now? And so we started back earlier that year. At the end of the school year, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to finish this curriculum if I don't do this. So I'll go through the curriculum and say, oh, we already know this, I'm just cutting this out. And then we end up finishing our curriculum. Prioritize your time. Like, your kids' education is the most important thing. Just know that you actually are doing the most important work of your life. This is the most important thing that you can ever do, is raise your children and raise them well. Commitment, I've talked about that the whole time. Just homeschooling is a real commitment. So if you can do all the back work and get set up properly, organization, your schedule, knowing what you're teaching and what you're going to teach, and what curriculum you're going to use, and that's a huge thing too. There's so much curriculum out there. Just some tips and tricks that I have picked up along the way that I wanted to share with you, because it really is scary starting homeschooling, because it's all on you. I mean, you're it. And if you can't figure it out, you need to get some help and talk to other homeschoolers. I still do that. I'm still learning. Even though I've been in it 10 plus years, I talk to other homeschoolers. Relaxed atmosphere really, really helps everyone out. So if you can prep and get everything in order, everything will go smoother. I mean, that's a huge, huge tip. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe, like, comment, ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. Hope you have a good day. See you later. Bye.